So pretty much proves the stereotype true, doesn't it? Hey y'all, welcome to the Hickson Diaries. Today we're going to talk about 10 ridiculous British stereotypes that are actually kind of true. It is a cliche, and it's one of those stereotypes that probably one of the first things at least Americans would think about when they think about Britain, British culture. But I've come to learn that tea really actually is a cornerstone of British life. Whether it's having a cup in the morning before you go to work, an afternoon pick-me-up, it's not just like having the beverage. It's also about the social ritual. It's also about just sitting down and taking in a moment. Sometimes it's a peace offering or a preparation for some big event that's coming up. Like an emotional support. I read somewhere that Brits drink like 100 million cups of tea daily. I don't know if that's true or not, but I read that somewhere in one of the articles that I was researching. But if you think about it, even if that's like only half true, that's still a lot of freaking tea. So pretty much proves the stereotype true, doesn't it? If you've ever spoken to a Brit or you accidentally ran into a British person, they probably have apologized to you or said they're sorry about something at least once. It's not really about like guilt or apologizing as much as it is just kind of keeping things on a smooth, uncontroversial level. And even when it's not their fault, they tend to say they're sorry. It's just a way for them to keep the peace, and it's just an instinct for them, and it's just an automatic thing for them. They're very aware of personal space here, and they're very aware of community and keeping things in a good level for everyone to enjoy and everyone to participate. So I think that's kind of where it comes from. But it's also one of those stereotypes that you expect and you definitely gets delivered on. British people love to queue or line up for those Americans. Yeah, British people are very orderly and very patient. They don't mind waiting their turn, and they will wait as long as it needs to be, as long as they need to. Whether it's for a bus, at the supermarket, at a pub, Brits are almost religious about respecting waiting in line. Now, it's not like Americans and other cultures aren't like this. It's just like the British people seem to just take it to a completely different level. Jumping the queue or jumping the line is almost social suicide. Like it is. I'm not saying, again, this in other cultures, of course, people will get upset if you jump the line and it's not necessarily socially acceptable. But here in Britain, I've come to learn that the queue isn't really just about waiting your turn. It's just that unspoken social contract, that agreement that everyone will get a chance, everyone will have a turn, everyone just has to be patient. You'll get there eventually. Another stereotype that I heard about before I moved here and definitely turned out to be true. The weather is almost an obsession. This one is definitely 100% true, and this is something that I've actually picked up since I've lived here. I find myself talking about the weather constantly here. And I've been told that Brits talk about the weather so much because it's a very neutral topic. It's not something that's controversial. It's safe, it's reliable, it's endlessly changing, and there's always something that you can relate to, and there's always something you can find common ground on. UK's climate's pretty unpredictable and provides plenty of topic of discussion. Whether you're complaining about the rain, or you're worried about an upcoming storm, or you think it's too hot, or you slid on some ice as you're coming in, or you're really excited about the sun coming out, those conversations are less actually about the weather itself and more about bonding and having a collective moan, which is also very common here in England. I love British humor. I loved it before I even moved here. British humor is very sarcastic and very dry. Being surrounded by it here now, y'all just take it to a completely unforeseen level. It is one of those stereotypes that's absolutely true. And if you're not really paying attention, you might completely miss the joke, which has happened to me on many occasions. I'm sure you guys are all really shocked about that. See, I just did it. British humor thrives on sarcasm and understatement and a lot of self-deprecation, which if you're not 100% familiar with it, it can be kind of confusing. And even for someone like me whose partner is British, so I've been exposed to the British culture for a long time, and now I live here, and I've lived here for a couple years, still find myself lost sometimes as to whether someone's being insulting or someone's just trying to take Mickey out of me, or if someone is just trying to see if I'm paying attention. It's very, very difficult. And then you combine it with the fact that British people have like 7 different definitions for the same word, and you're not 100% sure if that tone or inflection means what you think it means. It is a task amongst itself, I will say that. But for a British person, saying just a simple statement like, oh great, another rainy day, could mean anything from genuine enthusiasm, because there are people here who love when it's raining, to just completely annoyed by the fact that it's raining again. So it's all about the tone and inflection, and that subtlety, it can sometimes be difficult to pick up on, but I also think that it's what makes British humor so unique and brilliant, and I love it. Everyone has terrible teeth. It's not entirely fair today, in today's world, to say that a lot of British people have bad teeth, because I really have not seen that in most people here. Dental hygiene is actually as much as a priority for British people as it is for Americans. The bad teeth trope kind of lingers in pop culture still. I heard, and I'm not sure, but you guys can let me know in the comments below, but I heard that it had to do with the portion in time where the dentistry wasn't included in the National Health Service here. So a lot of people would just let their teeth go because it was very expensive to get them fixed. I'm not sure if that's true. I know there are NHS dentists. They are hard to find nowadays. The truth is that British people aren't like obsessed with that like Hollywood movie star kind of perfection on teeth. A slightly crooked smile or a gap, it's just not something that people prioritize as much here. As long as it's clean, you're healthy, and that's more than enough for the British people. Now, it is true that pubs are in abundance here, and that is something that people frequent very much. I don't know if it's that they live to go to the pub. I think it's more that it just creates this like sense of community. It's kind of like a hub. It always was like the meeting place of the town. Even did drafts and rationing and stuff in pubs back in like World War II and probably well before. It becomes almost like a second home for people, and people go there to work, people go there to eat, people go there to watch the game, people go there to shoot the shit, people go there to unwind, and it's just becomes a ritual, I think. Pub culture is really, really strong. Even if you don't drink, there's always something to do. There's always something going on in the local pubs. And it is a staple of British culture that I hope never goes away. And that stereotype, just live it. Just go with it. All British food is very bland and tasteless. I don't know why British cuisine has been the butt of a lot of international jokes, being labeled as boring and flavorless. Some people have said that it probably does stem from World War II with the rationing, because even after the war for like a decade or so, they did kind of live on rations for a long time. I don't know if that's true or not. Modern day, Britain their food is incredible. I love a lot of it. Traditional dishes are amazing, and they're simple, but they're not tasteless. I've never had a meal here that I thought was bland. I actually have to say it's not true, and I really don't even understand where it comes from and why anyone would think this stereotype is true. That British people are obsessed with royalty. From an American perspective, there are a ton of people in America that are obsessed with the royal family and royalty and everything that they're doing. During the King's coronation, which happened right after I arrived here in the UK, I had tons of American people DMing me and reaching out to me saying, oh my God, it's so cool that you're there for his coronation. I wish I was there. How is it? What's the vibe like? I can't wait to watch it myself, blah, blah, blah. I have to admit, it's one of those moments where you saw like British flags come out and a lot of British people were really excited to celebrate this moment in history that was never going to happen again. And I don't know that it's a fascination. I've also met a lot of people that are like, all right, the king and his family, that's cool, but anybody else, they gotta go. Met so many people who are just indifferent. Like, it's really about the tradition and the history and drama that surrounds it. It surrounds that event specifically more than just like a huge support of the royal family. And I've never seen the obsession here, to be honest with you. Everybody loves to moan here in Britain. This is 1000% true. Some people would consider a sport here in UK. It's not necessarily a bad thing. They just like to whinge. They're not always really mad or upset about something. It's more just like a gripe. And it could be as simple as a train being delayed for a few minutes, or the price of a pint has gone up a little bit. British people bond over being aggravated and annoyed. They're quite often not serious in any way, shape, or form, and more often than not, they're probably delivered with a touch of humor and sarcasm. It does, from a foreigner's point of view, sometimes seem like they're never happy and they're never satisfied. But for some reason, Brits, they love a good moan. There you go. There are 10 ridiculous British stereotypes that are actually kind of true. I think you guys get the gist that not everything is as you would think on the surface of things. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please click the like button below if you have. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And if you are a subscriber, please consider joining our channel if you can and have the means. Don't forget to check out hicksondiaries.com. It's our website. There's some merch on there. There's a blog on there. Also links to all of our partnerships and other things that are happening. Don't forget to leave a comment below and share this with someone that you think might enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I'll see you next time. Stay safe. Bye-bye.